Welcome back to the Agriland Pavilion here, sponsored by UPMC and Pearson Milking Technologies on the final day of the 2023 National Ploughing Championships. Now, two things that we know in Agriland that are always very popular with farmers up and down the country is anything that helps you save money and anything that makes a busy life a little easier. And I'm joined now on the Agriland stage by Pat Smith, who's the chair of the Micro Renewable Energy Federation, and also Kieran O'Donoghue, who's the Educational Outreach Manager with AgriTech at Munster Technological University. So, Pat, first to you. Tell us why you can help farmers save money.
Well, I think some of your previous speakers there, I was just listening to them, and they were highlighting the fact that input costs are increasing massively. One of those inputs for most farms is high energy bills. And while historically energy and the cost of electricity was low, I think there's a new high, and farmers are well positioned to generate a lot of their own energy to reduce their costs of running their farms, but also of running their homes. And the business I'm in, Local Power Limited, is putting solar PV onto farms and businesses. The systems are sized so that they optimise the savings for the particular farmer. And now with the grants that are available through TAMS, there's a 60% grant available. They can get the VAT back and they can write the balance off against their tax if they have a tax bill. Francis, as you know, it's a tough year in farming. It makes great economic sense. Not alone is it reducing costs, but it's also reducing carbon emissions on the farm. And it's very universal, isn't it? Yes. I see, we're well behind the curve here in Ireland. Solar PV has been adopted by other countries for a decade now, but it's never too late, and I think the farming community will adopt solar PV. A euro saved is as good as a euro earned, and the technology is very robust if you choose wisely. There's very low running costs of the technology, there's very low maintenance, it's very much related to the day length of the year, and the output is very predictable. So I see this being adopted by the farming community in great numbers going forward. And there are particular sectors that it's really advantageous for. Well, I think every farmer, even a suckler farmer, we heard about the sheep farmer speaking beforehand. Very often on a dry stock farm, the farm and the home is under one supply. The 60% TAMS grant covers the usage both in the home and the farm. And many of those businesses are also potentially have an income, an outside income piece, because of the nature of the business. They need an outside income to pay the bills. They could be paying tax at a high rate. So it's very attractive for every farmer. Obviously, dairy farmers, poultry farmers, pig farmers are higher energy users, and the systems may be higher. But this, in my humble opinion, if you do the maths, is an absolute no-brainer for all farmers to consider. Do you think it's been very important that TAMS3 took that on board? I think that a separate wallet of money so that the farmer is not impacting on his ability to spend in other sectors for solar PV was very important. There's 90 million set aside for the next 5 years. I think the Minister is going to have to revisit that figure as farmers learn about the opportunities in adopting solar PV for their businesses. But TAMS, it's a great support. It's a 60% support. That with the VAT back and having a tax write-off, you're into a 2 to 3 year payback. Now, if any farmer is told that with certainty that he can invest in something that's going to give him a 2 to 3 year payback, and if he chooses the right technology, has a warranted technology for up to 30 years, it's a very wise investment. Yeah. And Kieran, you're really at the cutting edge of some amazing technologies that are going to help farmers save probably time and money in the future, but it's also going to help them to adapt to new technologies too.
Yes, Francis, absolutely. I mean, the project we're working on, the AgriTech cluster, it's based at the Munster Technological University, and we're funded by Enterprise Ireland with the aim of bringing companies that are, developing solutions, technology solutions for agriculture. We're looking at bringing those companies together with supports to help them to grow the companies, also connecting them with knowledge providers that can help them accelerate the development, and with the community, the farming community, to help them to test out, trial these technologies so that they can actually validate them. And I suppose, to Pat's point about the cost saving, it's always a big one in terms of technology adoption, particularly in farming, that you have to have, I suppose, with any technology, a case where you are, you need to be saving time, money, and first and foremost, for a farmer to invest in a new technology. It needs to make sense financially, you know.
And are farmers very willing to embrace that? Are they early adapters?
I think, look, it depends on the technology, I think for sure, right? Some of the technologies would be very much, let's say if they're machine-based technologies, I think there's a bigger uptake maybe because, you know, it's coming, people are already using machines and there's like add-on technologies, say in the guise of a sensor, for example, that's giving you additional information. Then those technologies are quick to uptake. But I guess there's another suite maybe of technologies where you have maybe sensors connected to software solutions. Software solutions are on maybe available on your smartphone or tablet, and you're getting information, data from the farming practice around, you know, trying to, I suppose, understand what's happening in various areas, be it that feed input control, for example, and you're trying to use that data to make the right decision, and the softwares and the developments are trying to aid farmers to make those decisions effectively. But there are challenges with the uptake maybe of that technology because, you know, on the one hand, there's a lot of different offerings out there, so you can have lots of different applications for different types of use case, and I suppose one of the big challenges is trying to, you know, to have that so that it's very usable. I think if the technology is user friendly and if there's a benefit for it, I think farmers will be more than happy to take on the technologies. We've seen that over the years. You know, we can see some technologies that have been adopted very quickly.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what trends have you noticed? Like, what do you see coming through, particularly to Ireland here?
So like we've seen, like if we look back a few years during pandemic times, you know, technology came in and solved a number of challenges. Everything from going to the marts to sell animals, it went online very, very quickly. That technology was taken on immediately, had to be. So when there's an actual, I suppose, a problem or a challenge that needs to be solved, technology can be a big part of solving that challenge. And I suppose we're seeing it more and more now because, you know, the discussion is really deep now in terms of sustainability, in terms of environmental protection, and we feel, you know, in the work we're doing, that, you know, there's a big balancing act going on in terms of the need to produce more food because I suppose global population only in the recent past has passed 8 billion. And when I was born, that was half, I think, not to give away the age too much. But look, at 4 billion, now it's 8 billion, and it's expected to go up to over 10 billion, I think, by 2030. So there's a need to produce more food. The availability of land is becoming less and less. So I guess there needs to be more productivity, and I suppose all that has to be done while reducing the impact on the environment. So it's a really difficult challenge, and I think technology solutions can be part of the solution there.
For both of you, the whole sustainability, climate challenges, that's a key factor now, and we've been talking about that all week, that is something that's really heavily preying on farmers. You know, we know that solar is more environmentally friendly.
Yeah, Francis, I think the whole debate in farming is that the farmer is part of the problem. And I think everyone that's involved in farming, I think, will accept that. But they're actually a much bigger part of the solution. And I think that that's where the focus has to move to identifying areas in which farmers can get involved and putting a cost on the issues and the policies that need to be put in place to help the farmer adopt. Because if you listen to Kieran, the world population is growing. You listen to the farmer, he's been curtailed from producing. And if you are the innocent bystander, you says, how do you
bring them together? Where's the common ground?
How do you bring them together? Yeah. And the history of Irish farming and the farming worldwide is that farmers are very willing to adopt and change. And with new research, new technologies, new advancements, I have no doubt the farming community in Ireland will turn this corner. They'll be able to move forward, deal with the environmental challenges that they have, but at the same time, continue to play their role in feeding the world population.
Yeah. Kieran, I'm curious, do the people who are coming up with the ideas, do they come from a farming background?
Sometimes, but there's a mix, to be honest. You know, I've spoken with companies today that have come from computer, you know, backgrounds, nothing to do with farming, but they've developed a piece of technology that's actually, you know, solving a problem in agriculture. So they've come into that. But there's quite a lot of the companies where the people in the companies have come from a farming background. Okay. And I think that's very interesting to see, and it's good to see, you know, because they already, you know,
they see the problem, so they want to find a solution.
Absolutely, yeah.
And tell me, what have been some of the more exciting developments that you've seen, or maybe you could sort of let us into some secrets about what they're working on?
Yeah, look, I guess we're, you know, I've been over in the Enterprise Ireland innovation arena, you know, the last number of days, and I'm involved in the judging panel for the Innovation Awards. And yeah, look, I mean, it's great to see, I suppose, the growth and the innovations over the last few years in particular, and the number of new companies that are coming, number of new ideas that are being developed. The overall winner this year is it's a product called GrassMax, and it's around automating grass measurement. So. Okay. Particular use cases is with dairy farmers where they need to go out, you know, maybe on a Monday morning and take a physical grass measurement. So GrassMax have developed this solution where it can be automated using satellite and imagery, and using that information to actually calculate the dry matter content of the grass, you know, at a point in time that's usable for the farmer. So where that can help, I suppose, is that can save time. And that's, you know,
and that is a key. It is. We always come back to saving time, saving money, don't we?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and, you know, that's one particular example. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I suppose, information being gathered, you know, from, you know, different systems, be it sensors or be it from camera technologies. Even from satellites, as I mentioned, and a lot of the companies are looking at how can they use these data points to actually learn about, you know, to be able to do programming to see can they actually predict what should be done next based on how things are now, you know. So there's a lot of work going into software algorithms to help farmers make effective, timely decisions. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of work over the next years we're going to see where that offering for farmers will become much more, I suppose, transparent in what it can do, you know, and it's exciting at the moment to be involved in these kind of discussions with companies, you know.
Yeah. Now, I hate to bring politics into the mix, but we always have to know that it's in the background. So is there more the government could be encouraging people to do, farmers to do, from an investment point of view, from encouraging farmers to take up a new technology path?
I suppose the first thing, and Teagasc have done a good job, and the agricultural consultants, I suppose, an increasingly important role to play in this regard. Getting good research and information out to farmers. They will adopt it. And that's the record over a lot of years. There's always more the government should be doing. Yeah. But in fairness, the Exchequer's putting a big chunk of change into Teagasc to be doing the necessary research and development to ensure that the challenges that are facing the farming community today are dealt with from a scientific perspective. People like Kieran and other businesses out there are always trying to innovate to make a bob, you know, and if the technology makes sense and that it's economically viable or it saves time for the farmer, well, definitely they'll adopt and they'll invest. Yeah. So it's an evolution.
Startups love finance, though, don't they?
They do, and I think you know, there's quite a lot of opportunities for companies to avail of funding. So, say through, I suppose, for early stage startups, you might be talking to your local enterprise office. They maybe also talking to Enterprise Ireland and other organisations, other state organisations. There's very good, I suppose, supports to develop an idea. So everything from an innovation voucher, which is a €5,000 support to engage with an external researcher to maybe develop a prototype, or to, you know, if you don't have the expertise yourself, you can engage that external support through the various technology centres and gateways that are, I suppose, located across all the universities across Ireland.
And one thing I'd say about that, Kieran, and have been a startup myself, and looking around to see where I can get a bit of help. Sometimes they'll give you the voucher, for example, but you don't need to spend the 5,000 on a researcher. You need to spend the 5,000 on getting some equipment to get your business going. And the hoops that's required, they need to be simplified. The money should be got to the new startup as quickly as possible without having to spend 10,000 to get 5,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is a fair point, because, I mean, there's a lot of supports there. There's a lot of administration to get access to it. But I suppose, look, at the end of the day, it's trying to set it out so that you can give enough opportunities to the companies to grow, but then I suppose, and this is I suppose where we come in quite a bit, is trying to connect companies with the right supports, because we've seen there talking to companies, you can spend a lot of time trying to go down maybe an innovation route or innovation voucher route, maybe then trying another route. And I think one of the things we're trying to do is signpost companies to the right support so that they can get the best value. If it's a capital support, to get some capital injection, there's a particular way you can go to access funding there. But there's quite a lot of funding available. One of the things is there is a lot of work to go to get that, and some companies often question, do I spend my time getting that, or do I spend my time developing the business? And that can be a challenge, because it's really a busy time when you're doing that, and the early startup stage is quite difficult to get to the point, where you're a couple of years in and you have a revenue stream coming in for the company, And what we've seen quite a bit is companies get so far as well, and they have a very nice idea, very nice technology. And after maybe an initial injection of funding from whatever seed funding that they've got, they might run out of runway. And I think it's important to look at that. One of the things we're trying to look at is see how do we nurture that idea further and help them to access supports that can help them to actually get over the line and start to grow more jobs in Ireland and start to offer these technologies and to refine them so there's a big uptake,
Yeah. We're just going to, before we wrap up, because it is a fascinating subject and it's always something that our audience is very keen to hear of. Pat, you've got a very special competition running with Agriland now, 4 national ploughing championships.
Francis, we have indeed, and delighted to be a partner with Agriland to offer a €25,000 solar PV and battery storage system to one lucky winner. We've got some support from SolarWatt. We all try to offer European warranted technology. SolarWatt are a German company. The panels they provide come with 30-year product and 30-year performance warranties. And we've also My Energy, a UK company who are basically specialised in battery storage, water heating. So the combined technologies should, for one lucky winner, will provide enough energy to run their home, or certainly a good bit to help running their farm.
Well, Pat Smith from the Micro and Renewable Energy Federation, and also Kieran O'Donoghue, thank you so much for joining us on the Agriland stage here this afternoon. And that's it. We're going to pop out and just see, for the very few last minutes of the Ploughing Championships, what's happening outside.